I can't tell if this is good. I hope it is, but I don't really know. Yeah. All right. Hopefully this is great. My hair is ridiculous. Alrighty. Hey guys, it's my turn. So today is Mental Health Monday with Jordan. So I wanted to talk with you guys about family history. Yes, family history is something that is so integral to understanding who we are, our relationships, our goals, our dreams. Essentially, everything about us is ultimately influenced by the family that we grew up with, or the people or person that we grew up with. And I wanted to start today helping us think through sort of a rubric of how to break down what we've come from, okay? So when you look at your parents and when you look at your siblings and you look at how many you have or don't have, we can start there. Who works in your family? Who doesn't work in your family? Were there other adults besides one or both parents there? Or maybe you didn't grow up with your parents, if you were with an aunt or a grandmother or a family friend who worked and didn't work in that family. What was your birth order? Were you the firstborn? Were you the youngest? Were you the middle child? Are you an only child? Some of these questions immediately already, we have these rules of thumb to understanding, yeah, if you're an only child, then, there's some heuristics that people say, well, obviously, all of the parental love is on that one child, so they can more often than not be spoiled or have more attention. And if you're the middle child, that's kind of the opposite, where your parents don't pay as much attention to you or what have you. Then we get a little bit deeper. What happens when one of the adults in the family is mad? What happens when there's anger in the family? What do families do with anger? What do families do with big emotions? And therefore, what have you learned is appropriate? I think I have seen friends who think that yelling is okay, yelling and screaming. I grew up in a family where yelling and screaming was not okay at all. In fact, things got very quiet when there were large emotions. When there was anger, it was very, very quiet. No raised voices. And raised voices were actually kind of a scary thing for me. So relationship partners for me that thought that screaming and yelling were okay were very terrifying, that felt like something really broken loose if that was okay in the relationship. You see, first families, that's where you see some of these darker and deeper things like addiction, right? What do your parents, what do the adults in your family that you grew up with, how do they deal with emotions that are too big or too overwhelming? Like I said, you've seen yelling, you've seen anger. Is there a family member that has a lot of anger, and is there a family member that tolerates a lot of anger? Or hurt, could be hurt. I think anger is ultimately hurt, usually. Usually people are angry about something that they're hurt about. And therefore, what did you learn from your parents? Maybe you're female and dad in your family is an alcoholic and mom is a codependent. And so what you learned that dad will come home and he'll be kind of bumbling drunk. And you can even ask your siblings, what type of drunk is dad tonight? He's happy drunk. Oh, he's angry drunk. Better stay out of the way, or better even leave the house if you're someone that has their license. You don't want to be seen by dad when he's angry drunk. Maybe dad took out his feelings not only by drinking, but drinking actually opened him up to feeling okay, to expressing and feeling his anger and hurt, albeit in a very unhealthy way because he's drunk, and so some of the normal life inhibitions that he would have, he no longer has. Maybe you grew up only with a single mom, and maybe that mother and you have this very, very special bond where they lack of the other parent or any other adult in the house caused that family member to treat you like an adult from a very early age, and maybe you learned to grow up quickly. Maybe you were worried about family finances when you were 7 years old. The rabbit hole continues down very, very far, and what I implore anyone who's watching this to do is to make sort of a catalog of your family history. And I maybe even draw, circles for the adults that were in your house growing up, circles for all the yourself and your siblings if you had any, or even same age cousins that lived with you. Maybe you had siblings that were 20 years older than you. And how much were they in the picture, or were they not in the picture, and therefore what type of relationship did they have to you? Was it more of an uncle type relationship traditionally, even though they were a brother? And then once you've done this catalog, look at the way, ask yourself a few key questions. How does my family and how do I deal with large emotions, anger, sadness, pain, suffering, extreme happiness, joy, laughter, humor, all of the full gamut of relationships. What does my father do if I have a dad? What does my mother do if I have a mom? What does my older brother do? How do they think about these huge emotions? If I were to think about my parent, pick either parent or my sibling on 5 p.m. on a Thursday, what are they going to be doing? Sorry, here's some giant stomps over here. That's a great question to see if there are any sort of addictive or behaviors or coping mechanisms in the family. What would they be doing at 10:30 on a Thursday? What would they be doing on 2 o'clock on a Sunday? These are pretty good indications of what sort of behaviors are in their lives, what they might be doing. When I think about my family, and this is nothing against my father, but 5 o'clock on a Thursday, he's working. He'll be working for another hour or two. I don't know if he works on Sundays. He might not on Sabbath, but 2 o'clock on a Saturday, he's probably working. 10:30 on a Thursday, he's probably already in bed so he can get up for work the next morning. And once again, that's my dad. I mean, anyone who knows my dad knows that's true. He loves working. Work is a place for him, and so. But that gives you a very clear indicator about something that he values strongly. For me, pick 2 years ago. What am I doing 5 o'clock on a Thursday? I'm probably hustling to get home to get on my computer to play computer games. What was I doing at 10:30 on a Thursday? I was raiding with World of Warcraft. What was I doing at 2 o'clock on a Sunday? I was playing video games. What does that mean? It's a good question. If I'm out of pick 3 random times during the week and I'm playing video games during all 3 of them, I know friends who would answer that 5 o'clock on a Thursday, I'm having a drink. 10 o'clock on a Thursday, I'm having a beer at home. 2 o'clock on a Sunday, I having a drink after my lunch. So as you can see, there's little catalogs that you can do like this that will show you, that'll be a reflective mirror to show you your behavior. And to show you your family members' behavior and therefore what you learned. Maybe you're the daughter with a sister and a mother and a dad, and like I said, the dad's the alcoholic, but maybe you learned that that's really normal for the male masculine energy in your immediate family. Maybe it was very common to see dad drinking at 5 on a Thursday, 10:30 on a Thursday, and 2 o'clock on a Sunday. And so maybe when you think about your family of origin, your first family, and you think about what you look for in a relationship partner, you see these patterns of behavior, and not only are they not worrisome to you, they're not a red flag, but actually they seem very comfortable and familiar, and actually upon seeing that, there's something that's triggered where you don't necessarily think it's attractive, but it's somehow familiar to you. Or, once again, many sons and fathers. I'm reading this great book called Iron John, recommended to me by one of my best friends, Josh Carroll. It talks a lot about how the American dad is something to be ignored at this point, and the only option for American sons is rebellion. And so I remember some specific patterns that my father had with me that the one thing that I wanted was to do the exact opposite. If I had kids someday, and I do hope to, I hope to treat them, if I feel like I was supposed to be something for my dad, the one thing I want to make sure is my kids don't feel like they need to be anything for me. And so you see these behaviors where I want to be the exact opposite of my mother or father. I've certainly had many friends who grew up in very strict evangelical homes, and one of the main things they wanted to do when they were 19 is discover the new identity away from their faith, their religion, and more often than not, many times that involved breaking the conventional rules of Christianity. I'm going to try experimenting with drugs. I'm going to have friends that don't believe in God. I'm going to listen to whatever music and do whatever activities. I'm going to have premarital sex. And so you see that behavior as a rebellion against the first family, and both guys and gals and everything in between, that we do that. I mean, we rebel against that family in our behavior. So that's the concept of my Mental Health Monday. I mean, what do you guys think about your family of origin? What sort of family did you grow up with? Did you grow up with a family that allowed to discuss how you were feeling around the dinner table? Did you have a dinner table to discuss things over? Are there topics of conversation that don't get talked about? Are you able to openly talk about your dreams? Are you openly able to talk about what you believe in your religion? Can you believe something different than your parents and have that be okay? Or would that be gravely disappointing and hurtful to them if you didn't have the same theology, beliefs, same way of viewing the world, the same value system? But I want us to think about that, because I have so many friends right now who are dealing with incredibly painful things, marriages falling apart, divorce, relationships falling apart, mental health issues, codependency, addictive behavior, numbing, self-harm, and all of these things are directly in relation to the questions of their first families. I have a friend whose parents don't allow for any space for you to have a different belief system, and every time she comes home, she gets lectured about Jesus. And it's like, I've grown up as a Christian. I understand Christianity, but this my friend, she doesn't need any more lectures about Jesus. She's of an age where she's heard lectures about Jesus. I think she needs the love of Jesus right now, and her parents don't have any space for the love of Jesus, just for the lectures of Jesus, and it kills me, guys. So and that's why I want to be a friend, and I want to be a person that creates spaces where you don't have to be something to be my friend. You don't have to be something to experience love from me. There will be things that can draw me and you friendship-wise apart. If you have pain and suffering and you're not dealing with that, that will draw me apart from you. But if you are just looking for a space to be, man, do I want to create that space for you. And I want all of us to feel like we don't need to be anything for each other. I think that's the place where we have, where we can either go down a deep, dark mental health hole, or we can be happy and secure. Are we allowing space for people to be exactly how they are, to be the size and the weight they are, to have the beliefs they have, to have that weird laugh that's kind of awkward and that doesn't really sound that great, and it's kind of it's not very soothing to my ears. Is there space for someone to have a weird laugh in my friendship circle? Of course there is. And if I don't like it or it rubs me the wrong way, I can take a step outside for 2 minutes. There's plenty of ways we can deal with each other and with our weird idiosyncratic quirks and things. So that's the Mental Health Monday concept of today. It's my turn. What do you guys think? Tell me about your families. Tell me about what you think. Am I overvaluing this? Do you think that this is too important and we should, fix all of our problems ourselves? What do you think? Love you guys. Bye.